It was 1932 and Janis Darliņš had won the Los Angeles Olympics. It was the first Olympic medal won by Latvia. It was 2016 and Ilgvars Skračs had built his own house. Yes, Mr. Skračs had built his own house from scratch. Sorry, I couldn't resist the temptation. All with the help of few blogs and some DIY YouTube videos at the very first light of the day, between gulps of linden tea and a ham sandwich. Also, Janis and Ilgvars, they both come from Valmiera, or the Valmiera area. Mr. Skračs, welcome.
Hi.
We're doing this again because last time there were technical problems. How are you today?
Fine. Yeah. The work day is finished and I'm back from kindergarten.
You mean
yeah.
you go to kindergarten for yourself? Or?
No, I was after my kids and I have two daughters and they are both going to the same kindergarten, so it's easier to pick up them together from one kindergarten, not from separate kindergartens.
Absolutely. Right. So we're here today to talk about, as it happens in Latvia, you get to know, I'm very lucky because I get to know different people that are involved with different things. And when we first met, I remember we spoke plenty about cars. We have a common passion about that. But we also accidentally stumbled into the information that you built your house yourself. And then that was already kind of interesting, not particularly incredible in Latvia. Ilgvars wouldn't be the only person that did that. But what was even more incredible is that somehow you self-taught on how to build your house. So you use the blogs and YouTube and things like that, right?
Yeah. I don't remember the first time we met, but yeah, as you said, we accidentally came to this topic, and it always happens with me because building my own house is quite important part of my life, and yeah, I'm always talking about it, and yeah, it doesn't feel anything special anymore because yeah, I have done it. Yeah, nothing special for me because when I was building that, I was surrounded by people that also were doing the same thing, and for me, it felt normal for building your own house and doing everything yourself, and yeah.
But one thing that needs to be said is that when we first met, you have a kind of introvert character, so
I still am.
yeah. So it's interesting because at the beginning, like for example, I'm the opposite, and the more you know Ilgi, the more, or Ilgvars, the more you get to find out about very interesting hobbies and things that he did that he wouldn't tell you the first time that you met, which is so. But that was very interesting. So we accidentally found out that you built your own house in a very specific way. First of all, I mean, we should consider that, as you said, we need to find the spot, right? So at the moment, let's remind everybody that the place where you build your house is Valmiera, which is can we say an hour away from Riga? Is it fair? Yeah.
Yeah, approximately an hour from Riga. It's 100 kilometers, and it's not Valmiera. It's a village next to Valmiera, but it's very close. It's Valmiera Muža, and yeah, it's like a countryside. There's not many cars driving around, and it's just quiet. A calmer place and quieter place. But the city is very close. You can reach everything in just 10 minutes.
So it's quiet and it has commodities. It's not off grid. Absolutely.
Yeah, not at all.
And so clearly, I remind me, you grew up around in Vidzeme, around Valmiera. Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Valmiera region, but it was 20 kilometers from Valmiera, a small village, Orienteering. Yeah, and I moved to Valmiera as I was learning, going to school in Valmiera, and my first job experience was in Valmiera. And yeah, I got married and started to live in a flat together with my wife, and my cousin was starting to build a house in Sigulda, and they inspired us that we can do the same. It's nothing hard, and yeah, they were 1 year ahead of us. They started 1 year earlier. So yeah, my thought was then it wouldn't be so hard because they are 1 year ahead, and if I have something unclear, I will ask them because they will have already done it, and they will know how to do it or how to not do it, what I'm going to do.
So
yes, that's how we started to think about our own house, and yeah, there were no options to buy a house. There are still very there's no houses to choose from to buy because no one is selling a house here in Valmiera, and the prices are very high as well. And yeah, it was easier and even cheaper to build yourself and build it as you want it. And
if your cousin can do it, I can do it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And no, nothing to take away from your cousin, which I think probably very capable man. But yeah, so it seems that the situation sometimes in the Latvian, I want to call it Latvian countryside, but Valmiera is not that small. We can call it a town. It seems to be that you either buy a new house, which is particularly expensive, and you have to compromise with probably a place that you don't like, or maybe you like, or maybe so you have to adjust to something that has been built already. And then possibly there are flats available, but you didn't want it. You want to build a house. You want to build a family, so you want a house. You want space.
I already had a flat, and
you already had a flat.
Was too small because it was okay for two people, but we were planning kids, and yeah.
So it seems that the way the things are, the best option is to build a house, which brings in so many interesting aspects of it, which is it's a crazy work, and we're going to get into it. It's not like it's not easy, and we're going to find out how crazy you are. People are going to find out how crazy you are because you're not normal. so that's a compliment too. But I mean, before we get into that, imagine building your own house, laying down your first brick, and building a family and a house and having your family in it. It's just something that is amazing. It must be an amazing feeling. But let's get back to how it works. So the first thing that you might want to do is to find a spot. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, it's the first thing, and it's the most important thing because everything else can be changed later, but you can't change the spot. And yeah, they are saying that there are three factors that makes the price for the real estate, and these three factors are place, and place. Yeah.
So first one is place, second one is place, and third one is place. That's what really makes a good decision with a house. Perfect.
Yeah, because you can change everything else there, but you can't change the place.
Mm-hmm. And so clearly, normally we would think about, like in many countries, we either buy from a private, or in this situation, as it happened to you, you didn't have to buy from a private, you bought from the municipality.
We were looking to all the advertisements or the private persons were selling, but there weren't any good choices, and we accidentally found out there's auction for lands. that the municipality is selling, and yeah, we went for it because the place was very good. I like the place. I still like it. I don't regret anything about the choice of this place. And there's just one rule I broke, and it's don't live close to your mother-in-law.
You live close to your mother-in-law.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's sometimes it's useful, but sometimes it's too much.
Oh well, we really hope that she's listening to us tonight.
No, she's definitely not.
So the criteria is the place is the best because clearly you cannot move the house once you build it. You bought land from the state, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. I was the only one in auction, so I couldn't call it an auction because there was no competition at all. So I already knew it before the auction. So I went there as a winner already. So yeah, no stress at all. And
we were talking about the fact that it's particularly quiet over there. There is a prison not too distant from the house.
Yeah, there is prison quite close to my house, and everyone who comes to visit me the first time are asking about the prison, if they know there is a prison. How I feel about that, but
When they
I
ask.
don't care about it because most of the people, if I don't tell them there's a prison next to my house, they don't actually see it because yeah,
It doesn't look like a prison. You're right. We're talking about Valmiera State Prison, pretty big, but when you look at it, it might look like what else could it be? What do you think? If you don't know, Ilgi, what could it be?
I'm not some kind of factory or
No, factory, yeah. Doesn't
yeah,
look like
because they are quite big and big buildings.
Lots of people work there.
Yeah, but they're actually working there because when I was building my house, I saw that they are building something there as well, and then I heard from my neighbors that they are doing something with wood or producing pellets or something like that to earn money for cigarettes or I don't know.
Yeah. They have to rehabilitate themselves, so they're working. And also, because I guess that when people say, oh, I live close to the prison, people start thinking like in a movie that there is a escapee or a fugitive, and all of a sudden at night you're going to knock on the door.
But it's not quite prisoners are escaping there every day, and I don't remember last time. Not the last. I don't even know if there have been cases of escaping prisoners here in Valmiera.
And you could also look at it as Mr. Skračs as a quite a big amount of authorities around. So if anything, his area is even safer than another area.
Yeah. If there would be any escaping prisoners, they will go further next to the prison and stay there, like in my house.
It's interesting because clearly I know very little about history of escapes or whatever, especially in Valmiera or Riga. I don't know anything about it. But if you take the ingredient out, if you take the possible escape out, it's not noisy. So it doesn't.
No,
it's
not at all.
That's the only element. And to be fair, what would you rather have? Would you rather live in an area that is a bit dodgy and dangerous without a prison with delinquents in the street, or would you like to live close to a prison where delinquents are all in jail? So it's not a big deal really. And yeah, we're talking about that. We also had a conversation about how many prisons in Latvia. Apparently we got like a good amount of numbers. The one in Valmiera is looks big. There are two in Riga, I understand. One is in Maskachka, and the other one seems to be in Brasa. We found out today the difference between jail and prison. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there was a joke I heard that I used to live next to the prison, but now I live next to my house. So yeah, something bad happened. Then I needed to switch my living space.
Apparently, with the jail is something temporary when you wait for a trial, and prison is something for a long term. So we should call the one not too far from the one in Valmiera prison.
Valmiera is prison, yeah, but jail is better.
Right. So let's go back to the house. So we managed to buy the land from the state. It was pretty easy in the sense that was no other bidder at the auction.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about what do we need? We need a project, right?
Yeah. We need an idea what we want the house to look like, how many rooms, how big, 1 floor, 2 floors, etc. And yeah, and it wasn't easy because it's a hard decision. It's like a place you won't be able to change anything later when you have built it. And we were searching through the internet, looking for ideas because we weren't so good at planning to draw the whole plan from the scratch, and so we went from some ready to go projects, and we found one that almost suited our needs. And the next step is to find an architect who will draw anything for you. And and they are not drawing with pencil anymore. They use software, AutoCAD.
You said to me previously, right, Ilgi? You said, Fabrizio, okay, you get an architect, you get an idea, you come up with what you need, but it takes so long, right?
Yeah, it took almost half a year, but I knew it would be like that, and that's why I started in autumn. So the project will be ready in the spring, and when the building season starts, and because I can't do anything in the winter.
So in order to start building, you have to have, as it happens in many countries, you have to have a official project from an architect that needs to be approved, and when it's done, you can finally start building. And we're talking about a foundation, right?
Yeah. With houses, everything starts from the ground. Yeah, you can't start with the roof. You start with the foundation.
Oh, really? Mr. Skračs cannot start from scratch. But okay, Ilgi, so this is the moment where actually, apart from a couple of people that you knew that you could actually consult, like your cousin and the people around you, because it happens in Latvia that you're going to find yourself surrounded sometimes by people that have done that already. However, you got their help sometimes, but mostly it was as you kind of researching on your own, and you started researching on 2 massive blogs in Latvia available.
The first one I heard of was Vidzeme Moon. Yeah, it was quite popular and very detailed information. And the second one was Fuchsia Parks, but there were plenty of more. But these were most detailed, and every week there was some new post, and I was pretty excited to read every single detail. I have read them through a few times, and watching every picture they had, and looking for ideas and how I can build my house, and what to do better and what to not to do, and it took a lot of time and a lot of planning.
And then you have the whole world of YouTube. YouTube is full of information to do that. The language. So you were saying that somehow it makes more sense to listen to watch DIY videos on YouTube in Russian than in English or other languages. You said something like that earlier.
Because most of Latvians know Russian, but it's not a story about me. I don't know Russian.
Too young.
But too young and haven't really used that language. But yeah, I knew some words and I knew the main keywords for building your house, and I was searching for them in YouTube because yeah, YouTube gives you information that it is very easy to uh,
absorb, to understand.
yeah, you don't have to read. You can have your breakfast while while watching a YouTube video and learning how to build your house. And
And also, you said something very interesting about, yes, there are many people that understand Russian, especially from previous generation in Latvia, but also it makes sense to watch them in Russian or in Latvian because of the materials and the tradition and the different building traditions that are similar between Russia and Latvia, opposite to UK or the States, right? We said something, the materials because of the weather and the climate, right, Ilgi?
Yeah, the weather is pretty much the same here in Latvia and Russia, and also the people are sharing their information, how they are building their houses, and all the building materials are pretty much the same, all the techniques are the same, and many of them are doing them themselves, not also outsourcing a company that's build your house from foundation to the ready to live house.
Also, one thing that we spoke about in the past is the fact that here in Latvia, if anybody cares to go to a DIY shop, and at the moment, the ones that I can think of are Depo, Senukai, where you can buy material, you will realize that there is a lot of people that go to these shops and they love doing things themselves because of its history, and where you get to meet a lot of people that know how to take care of situations themselves in terms of like building a barn or a house or different things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily see in a different country, like maybe Netherlands or things like that. Or so in this situation, helping yourself with YouTube videos or blogs seems to be doable in Latvia more than another country, maybe in that sense, because there's already probably a good amount of practicality. I know how to do this myself, or I'll try to do it myself, and that's the reason why the shops are always full, I presume. So, but let's get back to the phone. So we were talking about, let's see.
Yeah, and another reason why
Yeah.
I was doing it myself was very important reason. It was money, because yeah, I wanted to save money, and if I gave this job to someone else, it will cost me at least 2 times more.
Times more, absolutely. And not to mention the fact that we're about to discover the crazy week schedule that Ilgvars had when he started building his house, which is, I presume, what was it, 3 years ago, right? More or less, or 4?
4 years. We started in 2016. Yeah.
See. So you, at the time you were working, you had just started working from the company that you work now, where you are a project manager in a marketing company.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fabrizio. Yeah, of course. And in a company that works with retail on the internet. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay. So at the time you had just started working for that company, so you had to change your 9 to 5 job and reconfigure the time where you were supposed to work. So you would wake up at what time?
Yeah, I used to wake up at 5 o'clock at that time to save time. And I started my job at 6 a.m. Worked 8 hours and went back to house, have something to eat, and went to my construction site till the dark came. The only exception was when it was raining. So I wasn't able to go to construction site to build a house. But then I was staying at work, working more hours to have a day off later and work on my house.
So, so in the morning, imagine, guys, in the morning, Ilgvars would wake up at 5, which is doable. I'm not saying, but it's not about. He would wake up at 5. He would brew some teas with him, like especially some homegrown linden tea, which is quite popular in Latvia, which is very.
I wasn't addicted to coffee at that time, but
So that means that now is a coffee junkie. So at the time, he wasn't addicted to coffee yet. It was 4 years ago, and he had some very special brews from his own family property. We're talking about linden tea and peppermint tea, which are very good antioxidants, so very healthy. And if you consider also the work, the building a house is like working out, pretty much. It's better than a gym.
Yeah.
So
but it also takes a lot of energy, and I used to donate blood before I was building house, but when I started building the house, I wasn't able to do it anymore because the blood tests weren't so good anymore. My my health was going down, and it took a lot of energy from me this time and this building time, and it wasn't easy. But at that time I was highly motivated, and I didn't feel bad, and but right now when I look back, it was crazy.
With the like, I understand when you were in the middle of it, you were also very passionate. You were you already had a child, one of your first one, and the excitement and like building a house for your family is beautiful. So everything else, you were too much in the middle that you didn't have the chance to realize what you were doing, probably in the sense of you managed to realize afterwards the volume of what you've done. Because again, wake up at 6, imagine, okay, wake up at 5, be at work at 6 after a breakfast that you spent watching videos on how to build the house afterwards. So you're not gonna wake up and listen to sports radio. You're waking up with a cup of tea.
No time for that.
No time for that. So you would go to work. Luckily, all the distances were reduced because everything is happening in Valmiera. So at least you don't have to commute crazy hour. And you would spend time at work where it requires concentration for the job that you have, the position that you cover. And then after that, you will rush home. It's something like around 3:30. And you're not having lunch or dinner. You're having something in between, which we call dunch.
Because it's not lunch.
And then you would start laying the foundation of your house. And you told me the process was first year for foundation. First year for foundation, was it?
First year.
And then
first year took foundation, and then the winter came. I wasn't doing anything to my house in winter. I was watching YouTube videos and planning the next year.
Of course, not take a break.
Thinking about techniques, about materials, checking out the prices of materials and calculating what I can afford, but which will be the most efficient material and most sustainable material. And lots of planning and calculating and learning.
And also your partner, your wife, was very important to all of this, right?
Of course, I couldn't have done it myself alone, and my wife really helped out, and
spiritual support and like somebody to talk to. Imagine like a guy that just spent 6 to 3 at work, woke up at 5, and has got another probably 6 hours or 7 hours working on the house.
But working in a house was my only time with my family. Yeah, I didn't have any other free time to spend with my family, so we were spending our time with my family on a construction site.
Which is great because
my kids grow up in a construction site, and
so some people sit down in the living room with kids and say, okay, today we're gonna, or some people like on by the beach, we're gonna build a sand castle together just to be together with the family. Or maybe you're gonna be, oh, we're gonna play Lego tonight. We're gonna build a house together. Look at that, like a real house. That is beautiful. And right, so let's take it from there. So we build the foundation, which has its own technique, and then all the decisions that you made later to finish building the house. Were you trying to buy products or materials that they were kind of friendly, eco-friendly? I never asked you that.
No, but I was thinking a lot about efficiency, and so the heat consumption will be lower for my house, and I don't have to spend a lot of money for heating the house in cold winters. And yeah, that was a very important topic when I was planning my house. And yeah, I had to decide when I was building foundation. I had to already decide how will I heat my house, and at that time I went for pellets. So I knew I will need a chimney. So I needed to build a foundation for it as well. Yeah, but one thing I didn't knew at the time that I will have solar panels on my roof, and I will have free electricity. So yeah, if I knew that, I would have gone for a heat pump, and so it is easier to maintenance, and because pellets boiler, I need to clean it every week, and yeah.
But can I ask you like a stupid question for this is stupid because we're talking about money. But you saying I didn't know
about money.
yeah, it's important. You said, Fabrizio, at the time when I built the house, I didn't know I was gonna have some solar panels, right? But you have a stove in the house, I presume. Can we call it a stove at the moment? Yes, like you can use malka, English timber, or you can use pellets or briquettes or things like that, I presume. But maybe, okay, money is very important, but do you have a different atmosphere in the house with the stove? Do you have a glass where you can see the fire in it?
It looks great, and but I'm not sure if I would do it again, because it takes a lot of money, and actually you use it a few times a year, and yeah.
Have you calculated how much it costs for a cold Latvian winter to buy pellets and stuff for winter? Is it like you spend like a couple of thousand in total? I don't know. Every week?
No. My house is, I would say, very efficient.
Yeah.
I did some good investments in insulation, and for me, for a house which is 200 square meters big, it takes about 500 euros per season
Okay.
for heating it.
But I see. But clearly you
So
didn't.
it's cheaper than my flat where I used to live, which was 5 times smaller.
You built this house. 3 years are gone, and you finally put the last brick. Tell me about the party that you had. What did you do? Did you break a bottle of champagne on it? What did you do? Something like some sort of baptism?
When I moved in?
Yeah.
No. Actually, when we moved in, we didn't have the doors yet, just the outside door, but we didn't have a door inside the house. But we wanted to move in as soon as possible, and
So you built a house yourself, and I'm sure everything went smoothly, right? In the sense that, like 1 year after you built it, you didn't have to go back and fix something. It was a proper job, right? Can we say that? We had to go somewhere and fix a little.
Everything is still working. It haven't collapsed, and I'm still living here. Yeah, I was building for myself, and there's a difference if you are building it for yourself or for selling it. And if you are building it for yourself and you know that you will go to live there, then
You care.
yeah, you care.
You're not gonna build it between a cigarette and a beer. Yes.
Yeah. You do the best you can, and
Beautiful. How does it? Does anybody come to you to ask you for advice now that you built your house?
no, not anymore. But when I was building the house, then I noticed that there are some people driving by, slowing down, watching what I was doing there. Some of them even stopped and asked me questions, and they thought that I was some kind of professional. But I said I'm not a builder. I'm an accountant. It's not related to building at all.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
no, I know everything about building, I would say, and yeah, it isn't something which with what I earn money, and I would like it as well to earn money with building, but I would call it a hobby. And if the definition for hobby is where you spend all your money and all your free time, then yeah, it's building at that time, especially.
It was a very good hobby. We know that you have different hobbies. Among them, we have cars, motorcycles, but there's another question. Since you built the house, have you missed that feeling of pleasure in building something again, which is probably not a house again, but like, because you've done a bit of masonry with it, you done mureshana with it. We can say that. You did that. So it was very intense. It was a year ago. So since then, have you felt like, oh, I want to build a little stuni, like a little barn, or I want to build something? Have you felt like you missed that a bit, or you just play Lego now?
I'm playing Lego as well.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I have thoughts about building something again, and it was a good feeling when you have finished it, and I feel a little bit empty now because it was quite a big project, and it's normal for people to do something more and more and more. But when you have built a house, what bigger else you can do?
No, you're
Where
right.
to go further? And so I feel a little bit lost now. And what can I do even bigger than building a house? Going back and building another house, or building a smaller house. It's not an achievement anymore.
No, you're right. It makes sense. That's a very good point. It feels like it's something that takes so much effort, but it's so overwhelming that once you're done, everything else looks small compared to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what can I tell you? I mean, like, we're trying to fix an old house in the countryside, and to fix it seems to be longer than building it from scratch. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Fixing will take the same time, but it will be harder and even more expensive.
Yeah, dearer, definitely. But I was thinking, what could you do? Well, I mean, first of all, you're a busy man. You work, you got a beautiful family, but I think like, have you ever thought about having a little workshop? Because you got space, I think, maybe there in the house, a little workshop, and start doing carpentry.
Yeah, I have a garage. Garage is the, almost the same
That's the house.
size, the same size of my flat where I used to live. But yeah, there's no free space.
We know.
There's a car, motorcycles. I have to store pellets there for heating, and yeah.
And God knows what will be there in the future. But what I meant is, because you told me, like, Fabrizio, I feel like a bit of a vacuum because I'm still addicted to the Dari path, the DIY feeling. So
yeah. I like the feeling. I have made something big. I have finished, and very recently I found another feeling that I do like, and it's related to my kids. And when we visit places, and my daughter says, "Wow, I like that feeling." Yeah, when she sees something, maybe it's not so important for me to see a waterfall or something like that. But when my kids like it and say, "Wow," then that's a good feeling. So maybe.
because
Yeah, I didn't have time. I didn't have any money to pay. I was wasting money on traveling because I need money for building a house, and it takes a lot of money. And yeah,
I honestly see you becoming some sort of goldsmith. I mean, a goldsmith laboratory, also carpenter. Like imagine like making your own furniture.
maybe I have done that. I used to be good at carpentry and in primary school, and I visited some contests as well in carpentry. And
every time there's a new thing. This is crazy, man. Like you did some contests too. And how about, have you ever thought about fishing? Nah.
No. Yeah, I was very passionate about fishing when I was younger. When I was a small kid, and I was always asking my dad, "Let's go fishing," and yeah, and yeah, there were just few times when we actually managed to go fishing, and it felt great. But when when I'm able to do it my own, then nah,
It's not the same anymore.
not the same. Yeah.
I moved to Latvia 3 years ago, and I want to imagine myself in 10 years, and I would like to believe that at some point I would have learned to do something that you can do specifically in Latvia. I will say maybe, you know, there's a lake close to the countryside where we have a house, and the house that we're trying to repair, and there is a beautiful lake over there called the Ushurs Lake. And I was thinking, I need to start doing things that people do here. I need to start learning how to cross country ski, for example, which is something that I never asked you. Do you know how to do that?
No,
Well,
no.
yeah,
But
I don't know.
lately there were no decent winters where you can go
Yeah.
skiing, and yeah, but there's a lot of snow right now, and yeah, I have a thought about buying skis and give it a try, but
I'm going to give you a list of things that people do in Latvia and see what you do. Because, okay, cross country skiing, you like me, you haven't done it yet. What about winter swimming? That's crazy.
no, that's not for me because I don't even swim at all.
Perfect. So I
Even
swim, but
summer, and maybe once a year I go to the sea, or yeah, but I can't swim. When I used to live with my parents, we had sauna there, and in winters like these, we went to sauna, and then we went out rolling in the snow, and then running back in sauna, and yeah, and if I had the sauna, then no, I don't know, it will be the same as it's still it will be a few times a year when I will use it.
you want to use it very often. All right. So we
Yeah.
said winter. Okay, cross country skiing. Me and you, we need to learn how to do it. Me and you. Winter swimming, we don't do it. Both of us. It's crazy, guys. You're talking about just getting in the water and coming out, but -20 water or -30. But the thing is, no -30. Sorry, the water. Apologies, that's wrong. The water is like +2 or +3. because if it's minus,
yeah.
it's nice. Yes,
Yeah.
which is extremely
But
cold.
their temperature is -20, and
Exactly.
I was talking about sauna, and when it's so cold outside like it's now, then it's usually 100 degrees difference. For example, in sauna there is 80 degrees plus, and outside it's -20 degrees. Then it is 100 degrees difference.
Guys, imagine I never done it, but you did it in your family house. Coming out of a Russian style or Finnish style sauna, was it more humid or more dry, the heat? Probably.
It depends. Something between, because at the beginning it's dry, but at the end, when spending 2 hours there, it's quite wet.
So in Latvia, you see mostly two types of sauna, and people are really passionate about that. You get a traditional Finnish sauna, more Scandinavian, and the Russian sauna. A Russian steam room or a sauna is much more humid and than a Finnish one, and the temperature is around 40 and 70 degrees. A Finnish sauna that is not as humid as a Russian one. But imagine just getting from 80 degrees, opening the door and jumping in the snow. It must be a beautiful feeling.
Yeah. You can't avoid shouting, and
your willy is out.
yeah, we are totally naked and running through the snow and rolling down the snow, and and then running back to the sauna.
Yeah.
The sauna and cold beer.
Oh, beautiful. A cold. Guys, imagine that. Like, okay, how many minutes in the sauna before you leave? You run to the snow? 10 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't count time there.
So it's okay. 10 minutes is enough. You get very hot. It's 80 degrees. It's very humid. You drinking beer. You come out. You roll in the snow. You get enough cold. You go back in. It just feels amazing. Is it? I mean, it's supposed to be healthy. No, I guess.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but you can't do it when you're first time in sauna, unless your heart health is very good, and you can start practice it with cold showers. But it's very hard for
Yeah, you want
heart.
to stay away. Quite dangerous if you have heart diseases or any problem with the heart. Absolutely. So we know that. We know that you are we know that you're local because you know how to do a sauna. What else is typical over here? I would say, do you care about orienteering? Have you ever been in orienteering?
No.
Okay,
I don't like running as well. So running in forests. The only thing I like in forest is picking up mushrooms, but I don't eat them. But I like the process of picking up.
Don't eat them. You know where I live, so there's a very local thing to do. Actually, be able to tell which mushrooms are good. Latvia is full of beautiful qualities of mushrooms. Baravikas, which are the best, I presume. I don't know how to call them in English now, Baravikas.
Me neither, but these are the worthiest mushrooms, and
the best, guys.
they are not easy to find as well.
In Italian, we call Baravikas porcini, but in English, what's Baravikas? Baravikas in English. Baravikas in English is mushroom. Anyway, but guys, we're talking about one of the best qualities. We're going to find out how to call it later. But if you put Baravika on Google Images, you're going to see what I mean. And when you see that, you know that the price of Baravika is definitely higher than other types of mushrooms, like chanterelle, guyliness, which are still very nice, by the way. So
guyliness is also.
Guyliness are nice. Breakfast with eggs and guyliness in the morning. No.
No. As I said, I like to pick them up, but I'm not
don't eat them. What a waste, Ilgi. Right. So
Maybe someday.
Maybe one day. But it's not that you're not allergic. You don't
No,
like.
no. I just don't like that. When I was younger, I didn't eat almost anything. I didn't like vegetables.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I like vegetables.
but it's getting better.
Yeah,
So
slowly.
maybe one day I will start eating mushrooms as well.
Well, until that day, you can you remember that I like them. But anyway, okay. So before we leave each other, tell us what is your plan for Christmas?
Yeah, plan for Christmas. We had a conversation about it 2 days ago with my parents and my other relatives, where we will celebrate it. And yeah, when we were used to live in a flat, we were going to my parents because there was much more space.
Of course.
But right now, here at my house is much more space, and yeah, last Christmas was my first Christmas in this house, and my parents came to visit us here, and this year may be the same as last year, that they will visit me here, and my brother and my sister as well. And
so it's going to be a big family reunion. Do you like using the sledge or toboggan or things like that?
yeah, last week I bought brand new sledges for my daughters, and yeah, we are using them every day. Not in the recent days because it was very cold outside, less than minus 20 degrees, because it's colder than it's less.
But would you still play with your brother? Because I know you told me that you would play a lot with your brother when you were younger. Would you use a sled or a sledge with your brother and like
No, not anymore.
not anymore. You guys are too big now.
Yeah, too big and not too much. Do not have time for that.
Well, of course you have time. Just the fact that with brothers when we were younger, it was natural for us. I got an older brother to play and
Yeah, but right now I have kids, and my brother is going to have a kid as well, and
yeah, but your brother.
we
By the
are
way,
grown ups, and
before we leave, if what's your brother's name, by the way?
Arthur's.
Arthur, so if you're listening to us, I don't believe your brother saying that he doesn't have enough time because you got kids. By the way, Arthur, congratulations that you have a newborn. But you surely, where does he live? Where does Arthur lives?
In Renzane.
So Arthur lives in Renzane, which is not too far from Valmiera. So you can clearly find an hour to put the sled in the car, get to your brother's house and play like you used to play when you were teenagers, guys. There's no such excuse. 1 hour,
Yeah.
it would be fun. Or you can tell your partner to attach your sled in the car. So
Yeah,
and
we used
pull
to
the
do that,
sled.
but lately I have heard so many bad accidents with pulling a sled with your car, and
Oh, it's dangerous.
it is. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're not that old, and sometimes we just tell ourselves that we don't have time to do something, but we do have the time to bond between brothers again. Anyway, enough with the sermon and the preaching, and thank you very much for having been a guest and for doing this again, Ilgi. I'm sure I'll get in touch before Christmas.
Of course.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Have a
Yeah.
beautiful evening.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.